Do you sometimes listen to native English speakers and think, I know these words, so why does this sound completely different? You learn vocabulary, you learn grammar, you practice pronunciation, but then a native speaker speaks and suddenly everything sounds different and fast. That's because native speakers don't speak word by word. They speak sound by sound. Sounds connect, sounds disappear, new sounds appear, and weak sounds replace strong sounds. This is called connected speech. And if you don't understand how it works, English will always sound too fast. But I have good news. Connected speech isn't random. There are rules. Today, I will show you exactly how to decode native British speech. Let's begin. I am going to read each text as it would be said in natural native speech. First, I want you to listen. Are you ready? Last Saturday, I walked through a big garden near my house. The weather was lovely and there were lots of people enjoying the sunshine. After a while, I found a quiet place and sat down to read my book. Now let's look at the connected speech. I won't break down every connected speech example, just a few from each text to show you how this works. First, listen to last Saturday. The word last ends with a t sound, but notice that native speakers often don't fully pronounce that T. Here we have what is called a consonant cluster, lots of consonants together. The ST in last and the next word that begins with S, last Saturday, is awkward and slow to pronounce. So the T is often dropped or becomes extremely weak. That's why you will often hear something closer to last Saturday instead of last Saturday. Now listen to big garden. The word big ends with a G sound and garden begins with a G sound. When one word ends with a consonant and the next word begins with the same consonant, native speakers usually don't pronounce two separate sounds. We hold the sound once and continue. So big garden sounds more like big garden. The same thing happens in phrases like black coffee, black coffee, good day, good day, and cheap pizza, cheap pizza. Next, let's talk about the schwa, because there are several examples in this short text. The schwa is the most common sound in spoken English. It's a weak, relaxed sound. To make it, relax your mouth, relax your tongue, and don't try to pronounce a strong vowel. Native speakers use the schwa all the time because English is stress-timed. Important words receive the stress and the less important words become weaker. Let me give you a few examples from the text. The weather was lovely. Was becomes was. There were lots of people. Were becomes were. And after a while becomes after a while. To read my book becomes to read my book. So instead of pronouncing every word clearly, a native speaker is much more likely to say, the weather was lovely. and there were lots of people enjoying the sunshine. After a while, I found a quiet place and sat down to read my book. This makes speech faster, smoother, and more natural. These small changes are exactly why English often sounds so different from the way it's written. Let's look at a new text. I was going to call my friend yesterday, but he asked me to send a message instead. We exchanged a few texts and arranged to meet later in the week. It was much easier than talking on the phone. Let's start with was. In both I was and it was, the word becomes was. This is the schwa sound. As I said before, the schwa is a weak, relaxed sound, was. If you want to sound like a native, you have to master this sound. Native speakers use the schwa all the time. You will hear the schwa several times in this text. To send becomes to send. To meet becomes to meet. And than talking becomes than talking. Native speakers don't give these small words full stress. They weaken them with the schwa. Now listen to going to. In fast natural speech, this is often reduced to gonna. Native speakers are always looking for easier mouth movements, so common word combinations often become shorter. He asked. The word he ends with a vowel sound, and asked begins with a vowel sound. English doesn't like moving directly from one vowel to another, so speakers often insert a tiny linking sound. In this case, it's a y sound. So he asked becomes he asked. This helps the mouth glide smoothly between the two vowel sounds. Listen to arranged to meet. Arranged to meet. The word arranged ends with a d sound, and to begins with a t sound. So arranged to meet sounds more like arranged to meet. Arranged to meet. It sounds like the d sound at the end of arranged is dropped. Finally, listen to talking on. The word talking ends in ing. So instead of talking on, you will hear something closer to talking on. Native speakers do this all the time with phrases like going out, coming over, coming over, looking at, and working on, working on. The goal isn't to pronounce every word separately. The goal is to keep the speech flowing smoothly from one sound to the next. When you combine all of these features together, you start to hear English the way native speakers actually speak, rather than the way it is written on a page. Now here's your challenge for this week. Find a real English interview on YouTube, maybe an actor being interviewed about a new film or a podcast, something with relaxed speech. Listen for 2 to 5 minutes, but don't focus on vocabulary and don't focus on grammar. Focus only on connected speech. How many schwas can you hear? Can you hear where sounds are dropped? Can you hear the y sound appearing between two vowels? Every time you hear one, pause the video and write it down. Then replay it and shadow it. The goal isn't to understand every word. The goal is to train your ear to notice the hidden rules native speakers use every day. Once you start hearing connected speech, you will start understanding fast English. If you want to do some more English with me today, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.